Jose Herrera liked working at the Citgo refinery, sometimes spending 80 hours a week, working as many men do at similar plants as a contract laborer. But he didn't mind. He was the breadwinner for his family, for his young son. But this is Jose Herrera today.
Screaming for help, help, help.
Trapped in a nightmare of memory.
How hot was the oil?
475 degrees.
Of a work accident that poured petroleum all over his body as he struggled to free himself from a jammed safety harness for what seemed like ages.
Between 7 to 12 minutes, I think nobody can go out there and help me out.
And even after hospital treatment, even months later, he's still trapped in isolation.
We can't hug him because he hurts all over. He can't hug me or hug my little boy.
And trapped in the worst way possible for a proud working man, financially, with seemingly no way out.
What is going to happen to your family?
I don't know.
Are you concerned?
Yes.
So how could this happen? Let's begin here, March 2005, as the Texas City refinery of BP detonates into flames, killing 15 workers, injuring 170.
We were just everyday people.
Linda Hunnings remembers that morning. Her husband, a contract worker,
Gave me a kiss, and he said, "Don't forget, baby, I'm working over tonight." I said, "Okay."
she never saw him again.
He always said that plant was an accident waiting to happen.
So Hunnings and others filed lawsuits against BP. The result, $1.6 billion in total awards. And the outcome rocked corporate Texas, but not for long.
The legislature has repeatedly refused to pass this law.
State Representative Craig Island says big business had already been pushing a law that would shield them from contract employee accident claims in Texas. But
Since 1995, there's been 5 attempts,
5 times shot down.
5 times shot down.
so experts say industry began focusing on another possibility. The Texas Supreme Court and the case of Entergy versus Summers, where they finally succeeded. In the case, the judges ruled that if Texas companies bought a certain type of workers' compensation insurance, they were immune from contract worker lawsuits stemming from injury. Island's reaction?
My initial reaction was, they didn't really do this.
To legislators from both sides of the aisle, the High Court had overstepped its bounds.
The judiciary is supposed to interpret the law as it is written.
And what's happening here?
They are making the law.
So why did the court do it?
This is supposed to be an impartial panel.
Andrew Wheat of Texans for Public Justice follows money in politics. His conclusion?
This judicial system has become a joke, a farce.
Why? Wheat analyzed campaign contributions to the Texas Supreme Court justices.
Some of the biggest donors are old school oil and gas names in Texas.
Companies, Wheat says, would benefit handsomely from the court's recent ruling.
This is an industry that invested heavily in these justices' campaigns.
Take a look for yourself. Texas oil and gas industry, BP, and others gave nearly $750,000 to the justices in the 6 years leading up to the ruling. And who got the biggest share? Justice Don Willett, the same justice who wrote the Entergy opinion, which gives these industries immunity. Some, though, have no problem with the ruling.
You agree with the Supreme Court's interpretation?
Absolutely.
He's Leo Lindbeck Jr., founding member of Texans for Lawsuit Reform.
I don't know why a lawsuit is a necessary ingredient in investigating what happened.
So we showed him Jose Herrera's picture.
And he has no recourse against the people that he believes could be responsible. Do you believe that this is really the right thing to do?
You're asking me to respond to you in an emotional way about a fact situation.
But here's an interesting fact. 2 of the largest donations ever made to Justice Willett, the author of that ruling, they came from the Political Action Committee for Texans for Lawsuit Reform.
We have to get the money out of the courtroom.
They believe that this stinks. Your response?
Then they ought to hold their nose, and they ought to join with us in trying to find a system that does not produce that odor.
Which brings us back to Jose Herrera, the clock now ticking on his 2 years of workers' compensation money.
So they say that your right to sue does not exist anymore. What do you think about that?
That's not right.
Why?
See, they put us like a piece of tool. We're not a tool. We're human beings.